for me, I just feel like there's a role that my big sister has in my life that I just absolutely cannot, like, it's just irreplaceable. You know what I mean? But now, to some extent, there were times where, like, now in teenagehood, especially when it's like I really look up to her, I really want to be like her, but I'm an annoyance to her.
Oh,
And you see,
everyone goes through that.
That was a really difficult phase. It was really hard. Hi guys, Muruki Munyi here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between.
It's definitely TMI.
Are we getting back to singing?
Definitely TMI. You know what? The joy of the Lord is my strength, and I feel like singing.
Whatever. I'm not hopping up and down with you on this journey anymore.
Because you do not sing.
Because you changed.
Oh, right. Okay.
You switched up.
I did. I'm sorry. It's because there was peer pressure from the audience.
Stand up.
I can't. You know, I'll go online and lie to them. I don't care what people think, but really
deep down
care.
inside,
I do care.
It's the opinions that hold your spine
That's
up.
it.
That's it.
That's what's holding me together as a person. As a person. Anyway, guys, welcome to this episode of the Messy In Between podcast. We're so glad you could join us. If this is your first episode ever of TMI that you're watching, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you because you have 100 and how many?
You don't know.
Brie, how many episodes?
No, don't say.
You don't even. You
yes,
don't know.
I do.
Because you've checked right now.
Exactly.
139.
Girl.
147.
Be for real.
172. I knew.
Be for real.
Tell me.
177.
Oh, I was so close.
What?
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Are you sure? And you don't know. Hey. Yeah. That one will come up in performance improvement. Nini doesn't even
lead.
Know. That one we have to talk about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you have all those episodes you can watch. Like, wow. Imagine it's like finding a new series.
The 177 episodes of a series.
Oh, the things we have been through since that first episode. Oh, my Lord.
And guess what? The things we've survived, though.
The things we have survived. It's been messy, but guess what? We are still here.
It's in the thick of it.
We are so grateful to you guys for being here. For those of you who watch every single episode, the premier gang, the ones who are always there at 12 p.m. on Wednesday. Even if an episode is 5 minutes
late. 5 minutes late.
DMs. I just want you to know, you guys are aware that, whoa.
And now we are hot on Bree's ass over 5 minutes.
I used to open my DM and I'm like, what is going on? Because like, dear Lord, come on, please. Yeah, but we really appreciate you guys. You guys keep us on our toes and you keep us consistent.
And accountable.
And accountable. And I really love that. Thank you guys so much for being here. We trust you are subscribed to our channel. Please do subscribe. Please do like our videos. By the way, this is something we say often, but please like them. If you actually like the video, please like, or just like in advance because we know you're going to like it.
Sorry, and what, Bree? Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And we have 139,000 subscribers.
139,000.
Yeah, 139K. Oh. Yeah. What did you hear me say?
I don't know. I thought you said 139.
We should do something. We should do something for our 140K.
No, we should though. You hold us accountable, Brie. Yeah.
Even like a nice giveaway. But only for people who are subscribed, people who are following us on Instagram, TMI Podcast KE, Murugi Munyi, Lydia KM. We're gonna definitely put something up for you guys.
Something. Thank you so much for subscribing, guys. That it not
means
easy
a lot,
to have that many subscribers. Yeah. And it continues to grow over and over and over. I know we're always reprimanding those who haven't. Yeah. But we wanna just take a minute to thank you guys so much for subscribing. It does so much for us. When we are sending these are the subscribers we have. We feel confident.
Yeah, these are our people.
These are people who follow us.
Ride with us. Exactly.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Guys, today's topic is one that's very close to my heart.
Forgotten though.
But equally important. Equally important, okay? Because we hear too much about firstborns. We hear too much about lastborns. But the true trunk of this tree that is a family is the middleborn. That's what I can say. We are the ones who hold things together. We are the mediators and the people who stand in the gap between these overwhelming, overachieving, always in controlling people, and these ones at the bottom who is just like, do you know your left shoe from your right? We are the ones who kind of like put things in a perfect balance. The middleborn. That's the best way I can describe us.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A reach. But
it's true.
I hear it.
Yeah.
I hear it.
Thank you.
What do you love most about being a middleborn?
So first of all, let me explain my journey. Let me explain my journey. Now that asanteni sana kwa kunipatia fursa hii ya kueleza how I have come to where I am today. I actually in the last episode we didn't even describe that our sibling dynamic. We just assume that people know, and if someone is watching for the first time, they might not know our family dynamic. So Lydia is our firstborn, and she has her little sister Aggie, who is 4 years younger than her, right?
3.5.
She's 30. Lydia is 34.
3.5.
34.
Yeah. Get it clear.
34. Yeah, I have an older sister who is 2 years older than me, Angie, and then there's me, and then there's Dora, who is 4 years younger than me, and then there's Nelly, who is 9 years younger than Dora, so she's 13 years, technically 13 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So I am a middleborn, but like now me and Dora are both middleborns, but I feel like I'm more middleborny than Dora, because Dora was like a lastborn for a longer period of time. So she's a lastborn for like 9 years, and she was really, really close to my mom and has remained super, super close to my mom. Whereas for me, I was like immediately after Angie, it was kind of like, we know we're not done having kids. You're definitely a placeholder. Really? Yeah, it was definitely a placeholder. And then like shortly afterwards, Dora came, and then it's like, let's keep moving on with the more kids. Right. And my mom says that from when they got married, they had always said they wanted 4 kids, which is great that it worked out like that, because they had always wanted 4 kids.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, mama.
Even that, right? And because of that last one, to push through to get Nelly. Hey, my God.
Yeah. She wasn't oops.
She was 40 actually when she had Nelly.
She wasn't oops.
No.
It was intentional. I love that though.
Yeah, because she said they had always wanted 4 kids.
I love
this
that.
was like, here's the 4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for her. Anyway, so I really embrace my middlebornness. Although like growing up, it was a bit tougher, because you do kind of just like fall somewhere in the middle. It's like you're not as the leading as the firstborn, but you're not as we need to take care of her as the baby. So sometimes you can just kind of like, you're just sort of in between those kids who's like, sometimes like you're taking care of this one, sometimes it's just like you're being taken care of, but really you're just,
it's not clear,
floating around. Exactly. Another thing with being a secondborn, and especially coming right after Angie, is like you come into a family dynamic that somebody else has already taken. This is their spot, this is how they are, this is their role in the family. So you kind of like have to find now what is yours, and usually I feel like in most dynamics, even if somebody's adopted or whatever, or comes into a dynamic, you then you can't be where this person is, but at the same time you really admire them and you want to be where they are, but you can't. So you have to kind of find like, which is my niche, where do I stand up, where do I fall,
I get that.
Yeah.
Actually in most dynamics of twos, it's like the first one decides who they are, and then the second one, as you're saying, decides who they are based on who this person is.
Exactly.
So the first one is like super smart. It's like, okay, what else do I have?
Right.
Like you start searching around other characteristics too, so that you can have your own identity. Exactly. That happens with a lot of dynamics.
And in some regards, when I think back to some of the things my mom says about how we were growing up, she the way she describes it, it's almost like there are some things which were naturally inbuilt in us that just made us different. So for example, Angie is like she's super adventurous. She like was a super boisterous child. She was almost like a boy. She was just like super boisterous, always getting in trouble, always doing things, always trying to push the bounds. Whereas for me, I was a very calm, very good-natured child, like never in trouble, never used to like do the wrong thing. In fact, they always used to say that with Angie, they had to always like punish her, like beat her for real, for her to learn a lesson. Whereas for me, it was just the threat of potentially being beaten that would completely
shake you to the core.
That's the worst ever. So like they never even had to pinch me or anything, because just the thought that I might get punished was enough of a dissuader for me to not do anything wrong.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Was Angie always like that from when she was born?
Yeah, that's what they say. They say that she's just always been that
spirit.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe I guess as a firstborn, maybe you're born into a space where, because you're the only child, you don't see how children should be. You're just childing. You're just being a child.
Yeah, there's
Do you
no
see
leader.
that?
Yeah. I wasn't like that at all. I was also a really calm baby. Even from like being a baby.
See.
Yeah, I was. Imagine. My mom used to have to wake me up. She's done everything. She's cleaned up. She's just like, see, wake up, I want to spend time. Yeah, I was definitely that. So I was very calm. I was a pensive child. Like I wasn't at all like that.
Oh, that's interesting. So then I guess maybe to some extent it was, because I've always wondered, did I become the way that I was now as a child? And even as a teenager, I was like that. My sister was always like going out rebellious, trying to sneak out of the house, whatever. Me, I was just like, no, we shouldn't do the wrong thing.
I had a phase though. I had that phase. But generally speaking, I was very much kind of told.
I'm happy that they split up. Because
would I have
a podcast with that other lady?
You wouldn't. No.
I don't. She probably wouldn't even be a yapper. She'd just be like,
she wasn't that much
like Sharon.
She was bold.
Yeah.
She was bold. I was always just like had a bold personality. Yeah. Like I had a lot of self-confidence because my parents really encouraged that. But yapping and not as much.
Oh, really? Right. Yeah, I think I also had a boldness in me, but it was more of like a quiet boldness. Yes. Kind of like those ones, not like
charging
into everyone. Yeah.
So where did it come? When did this come?
I don't even know. I don't know when this came, girl.
So loud as hell.
This one has come in my 30s, you know. That's all I can say. No, it hasn't come in my 30s, probably 20s. But I feel like, so I was just I think I explained in the last episode, is like, I was a middleborn, but later on when now Dora and Nelly came, it kind of like was me and Angie are like the upper borns and Dora and Nelly are the lower borns. So now it stopped being more like we're in the middle, because we are in the middle, but because Nelly came so far after all of us, she's the very, very last born.
Yeah.
And then Dora was more middle-ish, and then me and Angie were at the top. And I feel like for me, when I remember, like when I think of like when it was just me and Angie, and maybe like me, Angie and Dora, because by the time Nelly, it's almost like we didn't have the same childhood, because by the time now she's whatever, we are kind of out of the house and everyone is kind of grown up. When I remember it being me and Angie, I remember having such a an interesting dynamic with her, in that I looked up to her so much. Zach says I still do. He's always like, oh, you want to make a decision? You call Angie then. I'm like, babe, don't say that. I can decide things for myself. Angie. So yeah, I feel like I've always looked up to her in just like a way, almost like in a supernatural way. Not even at there's anything in particular which that you've done or said, show me you're so much wiser than me. But I just trust you. And I just know, like, I feel like actually out of all my sisters, out of everyone on earth, I feel like Angie knows me the best. Like there are times where she'll just say something, she's just like, no, Joanne won't like that. And I'm just like, wow. She really knows me. She really knows me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or there are times she'll just be like, no, I know, don't put that hairstyle. I know you won't like it. And then when I don't listen to her, it all goes badly.
She sounds like Angie. She
exactly.
sounds like she'd say that.
And she's always, so there's something about her that, for me, I just feel like there's a role that my big sister has in my life that I just absolutely cannot, like, it's just irreplaceable. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now to some extent, there were times where, like now, in teenagehood, especially when it's like, I really look up to her, I really want to be like her, but I'm an annoyance to her.
Oh, and everyone goes through that.
That was a really difficult phase. It was really hard.
Yeah, it's just like she's trying to have identity.
Exactly. And then there were times where it's like, because she was so like trying to go out at, whatever. And me, I was just like, I felt bad because I was like, I wasn't being able to reconcile the big sister who I know and love, who's so amazing, and like the bad things she's doing.
Oh no. You are literally turning into a little sister as you're talking now.
Yeah, because I just used to be like, but why is she doing wrong things? So I would always be telling on her to our parents, which of course would upset her even more. But to me, it was more like, no, I want to save her from having to go out there so that we can just be here together.
You used to snitch.
Sisters, I used to snitch. I was the biggest snitch.
Oh my God.
I was the snitchiest snitch.
Yeah. No, guy.
Yeah, I know. To the point where she actually used to hate me so much. She would tell people in school that I'm adopted, that I'm not really her sister. Every time I would come like near her in school, she would be so angry at me. But, I just kept holding on. Yeah.
Ooh, that switched up fast. Oh, okay.
I really went through a lot. Yeah. We only really now became like good friends in like 20s.
Okay.
So yeah, so like when she moved away to South Africa, and then at some point now I was just here, and then I moved to South Africa at some point, even though we're in different towns. But now it's like, now we were like, oh, wow.
We should hang out.
Yeah, you're kind of cool.
Yeah.
And now here we are. Yeah.
So do you feel middleborny? Like, what's the percentage of how? Okay, so we said in the previous episode, please go watch or listen to the last episode. So as far as percentages, what do you feel more middle, more first? Where do you feel like percentage
when
wise?
I interact with Angie, I feel very middle, very second born.
That makes sense.
When I interact with everyone else, like my little sisters, with my mom, with my dad, with even our cousins, in the family, I feel firstborn.
Okay.
And I feel like that's mostly because of like financial dynamics, and like I care for my younger sister, and helping to take care of my parents and things like that. So in that regard, I think that kind of like shifted the balance, and so that's what I feel like makes me feel firstborny.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, let me just say kind of like firstborny. When I'm with Angie, when I'm in the same space as Angie, I'm not anybody. I'm just a middleborn, and I kind of love it. I really love it. It's a break. Actually, it's great because I feel like I get to be
the both of
sometimes,
worlds.
and then that's it. It's so fantastic. So some of the best things I would say about being a middleborn is like, you can kind of like, you see what you said in the last episode, someone could actually walk into a room and like you can just be without performing. That's how I feel like I grew up.
Yeah.
I just felt like I could just be, because the attention is not on me. It's not about like, what are we going to buy, Joanne? You're just going to kind of get what Angie got, you know?
Why was that a good thing for you? Or why do you see that as a good thing?
I don't know if I see it as a good. Only now do I see it as a good thing, because I can imagine that when you're a firstborn and you have to like, oh, you see your siblings are looking up to you or whatever. Me, it's kind of like, no, we're all looking up to Angie. So me, because no one looking up to me,
freedom
I have
to
the
be
freedom
yourself.
to exactly, and I can be like however I want to be. You see,
that is good.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I feel like it was good.
Yeah, and I think you have a really you have a very strong sense of you are what you want to be, and I think that probably came from there.
Probably, definitely. Actually, I would never want to be a firstborn.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yuck. Even sometimes I think about who's going to be my firstborn, because automatically I'm just like,
I feel so
girl.
I know, yeah. So I love that, and I love just like feeling like someone can protect you. You know, someone has your back. Even now, I kind of just feel like, don't mess with me, because my sister is gonna come for you. It kind of just feels really nice to be like at least below someone, you know.
That makes sense.
And even this concept of like I'm saying, I feel like it's a supernatural thing that you just imagine your older sister will know what to do. Your older sister, even sometimes we're with Nelly doing something, we're like, if Angie was here, this would be so much easier. If Angie was here, this would just be done. It's just like and I understand then why firstborns have so much pressure on them, because as the middleborns, let me tell you, that's what we are all thinking.
Yep.
Lydia can manage it. Let's just wait. She's going to be able to handle it. Yep. She's going to know what to do. She's going to know what to say.
Yeah. And by the way, to be honest, and you are right about from the last episode that of the, if there's firstborn rankings, I'm on the softer landing of firstborns,
right?
For sure. That needs to be clear, because I do see some of the things that firstborns are going through, the level of black tax that there can be, like just the general not being able to just take a minute and breathe. I would say I'm on the softer side of that for sure.
Especially even like people who grow up in more rural dynamics, and it's like parents have many kids. So like, let's say my dad's family, where you had 10 kids, and it's like at some point you're having kids knowing that these other kids are going to watch those ones, not even that you're going to take care of them. It's and that these ones are going to watch them.
You graduate, you get money.
You are
I'm done as a parent. Sort it out.
And how then does anyone build generational wealth?
They don't, but because they're not thinking about that, thinking about surviving this generation.
Oh God, girl.
Where is the other one? Let's get through this one. Let's get through this one right now.
Those are the ones we really empathize.
Tough. Oh my God, so much. Every time we talk about black tax, I just feel people's backs cracking. And it's not just firstborns who have black tax, but you get my point.
Exactly.
They get the most.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things that people are not happy about.
Yeah, we put this on our Instagram stories. Of course, you follow us on Instagram, so you probably saw this and you contributed. And we had asked people, what are some middle children? What's one thing you wish people understood about you? Hey, I feel like
all of them
were all
exclamation marks. All the exclamation marks.
People are just like, generally, I feel like it's agreed kind of like middle children get forgotten.
They do.
Or get ignored.
That. Yeah. But only because the first one has been given the leader role. The last one is being babied. Yeah. So it's like this, you're a middle, like.
Yeah. And this is why I really advocate these days for people to just have 2 kids. 2 kids is the premium number of kids to have.
Said the mother of 3.
I had no option, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, by the time I was getting married, I already had 1 child. So I have a child with my husband. He can't be at the same level, even with my ex. Have to 1-up him. So now we had 2 kids with this one and 1 with the last one. So this one is 1-up. Yeah.
That's not why. Don't be crazy.
No, yeah, but it's definitely calculation you put in your head. Of course, you can't just like get married and have 1 kid, because then now it's like I have 2 children, but he has 1 child, only 1 child. You see, it's like you have to kind of like balance. These are some of the things that people don't say out loud, but it's true. It's the truth.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Me, I know like now it's like this one is Sijui, a boy. Now you gotta give him, I know some of those dynamics.
If Ethan was Zach's biological child, I would have stopped at just the two. That I can say I would have stopped at just the two, and then Tana would never exist with her cuteness and her sweet little hair. I know, so sad. But now it's because now it's like in marriage, the counter is starting afresh.
Yeah.
That's it. But I feel like, don't you think with two kids, I know I'm putting hey. Anyway, I feel like with two kids, it's perfect because the firstborn gets to be special. Firstborn, you're the first, everything like something just so unique about you first.
And then you're the last.
And the last one, you're the last. Yeah. But you see now, in our dynamic with our kids, everybody gets something special because we always tell Ethan he's like the only boy, first of all, and he's the firstborn.
Yeah.
Then with Mukeni, we tell her she's the first girl. So she's the best and she's the first girl. Yeah. With Tana, she's the last girl. She's the last born, special. So everybody gets something.
Everyone gets something.
Exactly.
Even you are the second girl.
Shut up.
You are the second of 4 girls. You see? Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Literally, second of 4 girls is like the worst positioning to be. The worst positioning to be.
And yet you're exceptional.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's all in the sauce, baby.
Imagine.
It's all in the sauce. The forgotten thing, definitely, I see that.
Yeah.
I can see how that can be. Have I seen many middle children? Do I know many middle children? Like a lot of middle children I know are kind of like now how Dora was, which is like you are the last born and then someone came. Yeah. So essentially you kind of are the last born.
Because you got to be a last born for a while.
You got to be
also, many middle children don't claim their middlebornness the way you firstborns are always
I'm
the firstborn.
It's a
lastborns are always like, I'm the baby, I'm the baby. Middle children, you wouldn't even know that they're middle children. They would never tell you unless now it's that you've asked. They never said nothing.
It's true, actually. I'm the 4th born of 7.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
what significance does that have to this conversation?
I'm gonna need you to
I get it, because even when someone says they're the firstborn, you've already decided who I am. Exactly. I have a picture.
And I'm just like, okay, she's
you have
charge.
A picture.
Yeah.
The middle is like, no, I need to now go on a 4th date to figure you out more.
And then based off of how their firstborn is, or like what the dynamics are with their older siblings and the dynamics with their younger siblings, that's what determines kind of like how this middleborn turns out. They're not just you're who you are. No, you're who you are based on how these ones are and how these ones are. Now let's see how we can position you really.
Okay, great. So now how would you say that you are based on these ones and these ones, the way you just said? Like, what characteristics can you see in yourself, like, that have been somehow molded because of your birth order?
Right. So with Angie, okay, maybe more when we were younger as opposed to like who we are now. But when we were younger, it was that element of like maybe her adventurousness made me calmer because maybe it's like seeing that she's that way, and then it's like you want to balance out. I don't know. I feel like as kids,
and
kind of
get in trouble.
That's the thing. You don't want to get in trouble, and also kind of like if this person has already taken that role, you now are like, okay, I'll take this other one where it's like I'm a calm one, kind of thing. Also, growing up, Angie was extremely bright, like she's extremely smart, and that was really always the benchmark. And I feel like it made me put in so much effort in school because I was always trying to be like just as good as Angie, and also because we are so close in age. So it's like if you're in class 8, this one is in class 6. So it's like she was just there 2 years ago. So it's like, oh, your sister. A lot of the teachers would be like, I taught your sister a year ago, 2 years ago, I was teaching your sister. So now it's like, and she was very bright. I hope you're also going to, you can imagine. So in relation with Angie, I feel like it was more of like I look up to her. I'm trying to be like her, but also in some ways I'm trying to not be like her at all with regards to her parents. With my younger sisters, I don't really, again, because like it kind of felt like they came so far after us.
4 years.
4 years, but also the way Dora was raised. We always like to say the way Dora was raised was very different from the way the rest of us were raised. So like, for example, when Dora was born, my mom breastfed her the longest. She was breastfed until she was 4. Yeah, my mom used to, and my mom is always telling this story that she used to take her to her office. Like she would go with her to the office. So she's going for meetings. Dora is with her in her office. She's just staying with her in her office the whole time. Yeah. Wow. So she was like really close. And also depending on the season in your mom's life that a child comes, It really differs. So by the time me and Angie were coming, my mom and my dad were kind of still like beginning, like early doctors. Like they were just getting their footing, weren't as financially stable. By the time Dora was coming, they were good. They were really good. So at that point, I feel like even her experience of motherhood, from what I could perceive, seemed easier and like better, kind of. And it's just like, oh wow, she's really loving on that child,
I get it. Yeah, like I see people making that difference. That like when someone's parents maybe had other kids, like maybe early 30s or even their 20s, versus like when you are like way later now.
That's it.
It's just like, they have more time, they're more relaxed, versus the one you're just like, do you know who raised me? Do you know who raised me? Me, I was raised by a wolf. I can tell you.
And you were raised by a cute, cuddly,
and it's a
bear.
really different kind of motherhood.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see how that is.
And then now by the time Nelly came in her last bornness, she came at a time when now like my parents' relationship was now breaking down, significantly breaking down. So she got the worst of my dad's alcoholism. She got the worst of their incompatibility as a couple. And so hers was like, now her experience of like the way the home dynamic is so different from the rest of us.
Yeah.
So it's like, last born, but damn, you struggled. Yeah.
Oh, and usually it's not the other, because usually parents get like better as they get older. So you have like
hers was like uniquely negative. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
I know.
That sucks.
When she comes for an episode, perhaps
she will
next week. Exactly, next week, but one.
Next week.
Nelly, if you're watching this, we can't wait to have you on.
Yeah. This is one thing I'm taking from like some of the things that middleborn said that they really didn't like.
Yeah.
This one for sure I know. Getting hand-me-downs.
Oh yeah. I got a lot of hand-me-downs. But I kind of remember loving the hand-me-downs because of the fact that I idolized Angie. So like anything of hers, I'm like, wow. I love it so much. Yeah, exactly. I remember that. And I also remember us being bought for a lot of matching things, which I remember I loved so much. I don't know if Angie loved them, but I definitely loved them.
There's a season she did, then it started being like, I want my own identity.
Exactly. Also, that one is like probably more of a policy of like your parents, because like now Tana doesn't wear Kenny's hand-me-downs. Once Kenny's done with something, we just give it away, and she gets her own.
That's a good.
I think it's good.
I like
also
that.
Because their body types are very different. So even something Mukeni has outgrown, Tana wouldn't be able to fit into it for like years. So it's kind of like it works out.
Yeah,
but yeah, I can see how in like other kinds of households it can be difficult. Just like the only clothes you're getting are the used clothes of your sister.
Yeah. I don't know if Aggie got so many of my hand-me-downs either. I don't remember that. Maybe sometimes when it's two, it's just like buy everyone
which makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Buy this top, the same top. Yeah.
And also I guess financially as well.
Yeah. A lot of the middle children's responses were we are loners, we want to be left alone but still feel loved, we need attention.
Yeah, attention seeking. Do you feel that?
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm a podcaster. Maybe that's why I became a content creator, because it's like I want people to hear my views and opinions,
because they weren't heard,
and my wants. Yeah. But actually, when I think back to like growing up, I don't feel like my mom didn't like hear me out or my parents ignored me or anything like that. I feel like maybe our situation was different. I didn't feel ignored.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I felt ignored.
Yeah.
I would say I felt like I blend in. But not ignored. Yeah. Because my mom was a really great mom. So yeah.
And I think your mom, and also your mom's like really smart. I feel like she would pick up some of these things.
Yeah, she was very in tune with us, and she always like went out of her way, even till now, goes out of her way to make us all feel individually, uniquely special, not just as a collective or the girls, also just as you as Joanne, you as Angie, you as Dora, you as Nelly.
Yeah. I think my mom definitely is girls. She does have a unique relationship with us, but I don't know if it's like intentional that way. It's like that's we have separate relationship by virtue of being separate people. But if my mom could just girls, even when she's talking to us on the phone,
I guess
all
it's
the time,
easier to manage. Even me with Kenny and Tana, it's just like
girls.
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
be together, and it's easier to manage you as a group.
Yeah,
exactly.
And my mom used to say the reason why she got 2 kids is because she's like, in all dynamics, sharing something, splitting it in 2 makes sense, right? So if you can afford 1 sausage, split it in 2. They let you both. They did have a half a sausage is something.
That's it.
3
is really tough, man.
No. Yeah. It's not. She was just like, she just thought 2 made so much sense.
So perfect.
Yeah, she's like, even if I'm like going anywhere with both of you, it's like this.
That's
the
it.
Third now,
Kenny and Tana, actually does. That's And that's why I can't have another kid, guys. I literally don't have hands left. That's the way it is.
I really need one of you married of friends of mine to just have a baby.
Or
in like
you
a year
who
or
has
two.
contributed no babies
See what
to
I'm
the
saying?
population.
Like if I'm working towards it in 2 years, let's just have a baby together.
So together,
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, think of how late TMI would be.
Oh, guys.
Then
4 hours
Beryl
late.
wouldn't need to tell us 45 minutes episode.
John, wake up! Wake up!
20 minutes into the episode is like, I'm done. Finished. Repositioning ourselves. It would be really nice.
Because I'm pregnant. Because what you gonna do? It's gotta come out.
It's true.
No, Joe. I don't picture that. I don't picture the vibe you're picturing.
It could be just like a really nice, beautiful experience. I feel like you're gonna carry pregnancy really well.
I think so too.
Yeah, because of the way you like. A lot of us, when we were getting pregnant, weren't like gym babes, eating well, whatever. We were just like living life. I feel like you're already like you're gonna be good.
You've got me into healthy eating.
Yeah.
Guys, I haven't told you how Joanne changed my life.
Literally.
So first of all, Jo eats really, really well.
I do.
Like even her snacks. I went to her home. I've been to her home twice. For those of you who are still attacking in the DM,
insert picture here.
And the way you eat really is just like, wow, your food is always like rich and just
wholesome.
Yes, I've been getting food from Paula's Fit Kitchen. The food is delicious. It's like, it doesn't have oil. It's well. So
she
now
cooks in a calorie conscious way and in a way which is just like healthy, whole ingredients, not like
and so
just
affordable.
Really affordable,
I was like,
really delicious.
What on earth have I been doing?
Yeah.
So my meals, my food has been so good. I have energy now.
Yeah, exactly. And funny thing, when I met you, you used to eat well.
Yeah.
You used to eat well. Lydia eats well when she's in a relationship.
It's not Lydia eats well when she's in a relationship. Lydia cooks when she's in a relationship.
Right.
I don't know what it is. It's like the settled downness.
Yeah.
There's something about a relationship that makes you feel like,
yeah. Also, when you're living with someone, Also, when you're living with someone, it's kind of like we need to think about what's for breakfast.
Even when I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Even when I wasn't, I just felt like I don't know. There's just like a settledness. You feel like stay in your house.
Yeah.
So I cook more when I'm in a relationship.
And what we've established though is that eating good food is love for your body, because that's how your body has energy. That's how you're able to, even mental clarity is more when you're eating well. Yeah.
It's been an aesthetic problem where it's like, since I'm working out and it's like, oh, my body looks fine. Like, why do I need to diet? But now your blood count is low.
Actually, when you're in your 30s, what people call diet is just how you should be eating. Is ordinary eating. Yeah, you should be prioritizing whole foods, eating meat, protein, veggies, fruits. That's actually how you should be eating.
Yeah,
in your 30s.
And great snacks. I ordered some granola bars. Like,
oh, nice.
Your diet is like on point. So all this to say, I will carry pregnancy.
Oh, good. She will. She will indeed carry. And also, Lydia is not a sweet tooth, which is a good thing you have going for you. Us sweet tooths, we are the ones who really struggle.
But I don't see you eating as much sweet tooth as you say.
Just say you don't see me taking pictures.
No, even when you're here, like when's the last time in a shoot day you ate something
Yeah, but
sweet?
most times it's like, and right now I can control. You see, like now I try to keep it away from where I am. You see, now if you say, okay, we are ordering the cookie bar.
You say yes.
We haven't ordered the cookie bar. And so, no, I don't want to, no. But you see, now if it was here, I can easily eat 3 in one sitting. You see how Lydia she'll take like 2 bites. She'll even put the cookie down. She even forgets that she was eating the cookie. Me, I'm like, I really love sweet things, but I've been trying to stay away from them as much as I possibly can.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, back to you, middleborns, and how you're struggling. Woo, we are attention whores because we grew up ignored. Not being the favorite child kinda enables avoidance and lack of confidence, but we healed. Let's talk about this concept of being the favorite child. Most people would say the lastborns are the favorite, or sometimes the firstborns are the favorite.
I think it's more the firstborns, but that can't be placed on us because the lastborns would cry.
Is it the firstborns really? I don't think it's the firstborns.
I think so. Let me tell you why. I feel like they're their parents' favorite child from the perspective of connection, but the youngest is their favorite by virtue of the care a parent gives the last one, just by virtue of that. And that's why we say that Tana is your favorite.
Right. But many people who interact with me, no, I'm saying right, that's why you say that. But many people who interact with me in person or like interact with our family in person are always like, Ethan is my
funny enough, Sharon, when we did that video, my PA Sharon was like, no, she thinks it's Ethan.
You see, that's the thing. Exactly. So
and that's what I mean.
The concept of like, it's a different kind of like, oh my God, intense of like, he's my first one, he's the one who's like, you the one who made me a mom kind of thing. Whereas with Tana, it's like, oh my God, my sweet little baby. Exactly. With Mukeni and Zach are incredibly close. Like they are almost like scarily similar in terms of the way they look, but also in terms of like her habits. Even when Zach's mom interacts with her, he's always just like, this is basically Zach, but like a small female Zach. She's super boisterous. The way her mind thinks and the way they just go together. So it's almost like in my mind, okay, you have your person. Then now here is my person, kind of.
The middle child again.
Oh, right.
Again.
But now you see, since that time, since we shot that December video, I am always so aware of it to make sure that it's never like an apparent thing. There's a different thing of like, oh, we saw the way you babied Tana. Also, Tana is so tiny. Have you seen how small she is? Also, she's so affectionate, It's true. She is super.
Go back to what you just said.
You don't need to seem too apparent. Exactly. Don't seem too apparent. So like I'm always conscious about the way that the way I balance things out with the 3 kids. Because if it was up to me, even me, I could just only be with Ethan, just me and Ethan forever. Then
I feel like it's just even by the way sometimes you talk about Tana, right? There you go. It's actually, for me, it's mostly that.
But you see, is it a factor of being a favorite or just the factor of being the last born, the baby? Because you see, sometimes it's like that gets confused. People will confuse that level of affection for like she's the favorite. Not necessarily, It's just like because they are the last born, they are the baby, and you're just thinking holding on to them is like holding on to your youth, kind of. I don't know. Because the older she gets, just like, whoa, my last born is now like super, much older. It's kind of like there's a nostalgia that the last born feels. So it's like, is it the favorite or is it just the baby? Is the firstborn the favorite or are they just helpful? Are you just helpful? And
you
that's
tell
why
me.
I feel like you're the favorite.
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm not a firstborn.
No, you're a mom.
Oh. Shit. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Uno reverse card.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
I didn't see
Didn't see that coming.
No, I feel like with the firstborn, it's just kind of like Ethan is always saying, he's like, before everyone else in this family, me, I'm the one who was there. Because, of course, he's the one who has known me the longest. So he's like, I've known you more than everyone. So there's a nostalgia of like, there was once it was just me and him. Maybe that's what it is. Now, I can't speak for like, if I wasn't a single parent with him before meeting Zach. I don't know if it would be the same.
Yeah, I get it. So I feel like there's just different ways that parents connect to kids. But I think firstborns are happy for the lastborns to be the favorite. Like we're not fighting them about it. And also we do have this. We know it's us. Let them have it. You know what I mean? For PR reasons.
So you think you've given them their reasons. Let me just...
You know what I mean? To keep the house happy.
In fact, I feel like with firstborns, it can be really bad because like you feel like you should be the favorite because I help with this, I've done this, I've set a standard, I'm probably the smartest, I've achieved the most. But you realize this person is doing barely anything. They're not doing anything, but they are most loved.
We actually do know that most of the time it's like you're loved the least.
Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
How does that feel?
I don't know, because I guess you're exchanging with respect.
And who gives a fuck about respect? I would.
Once
I'm
you're older,
willing to trade the respect though.
Yeah,
for
once
love.
you're older.
I guess
because
so.
now it's like, what are you gonna do with the love anyway?
What are you gonna do
when
with
you
the
were
respect?
When you were younger, it's like, yeah, you really wanted to have that kind of love, and for sure, I think most firstborns feel resentful that they kind of always felt like it's me and then the baby who all you think about is the baby. So there's definitely that, for sure the youngest one was doted on the most. But let me tell you why. It's the way you dote on Tana at 5 was not the way you were doing it for Kenny. Because you constantly see that she's a baby, but really Kenny at 5,
right? Yeah,
you weren't seeing that, maybe because Tana was there.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Tana was
so
now
really,
2, so it was
5. Really, is it 5
right.
or is it because my last born is 5? Because Kenny at 5 was an older sister who you used to feel is like, you're bigger than her, so take care of her. So her 5-year-old is very responsible. Like, it's like a big age. Whereas Tana's 5 is like, you're 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know, some of these things, let's just say it's just the cycle of life, and let's let it be.
AKA, don't hold me accountable.
Don't hold anybody accountable to anything, because the reality is that I almost feel like God knew these dynamics happen in our ninis as moms, because it's not something like that is impacted. Okay, maybe it is impacted by social media or whatever, but it's natural feeling. Your smallest baby is the one who you feel the need to most protect, whereas the oldest ones, you're like, oh, you're grown up, you can take care of yourself, kind of thing.
I think a lot of this, even when we are talking, as you said, it's like half of this is like, what do you want us to do?
What can we do?
Yeah. But now what I'm saying is that the perception is that even in age-wise, as they get older, if you think about how you perceived Kenny at 5 versus Tana, it's very, very different.
Exactly.
And so now imagine the way you see Tana now, imagine being like, take care of anything else.
No.
You see? Whereas Kenny at 5 could take care of Tana.
Yeah.
When she was 3, you see, it's so the perception of age versus from when you are as the first born, now even in these two dynamics versus the younger one is different. So you at 10 was like, you're so grown up, and that's where the being robbed of your childhood bit comes in, because you're not a child anymore to your
really
parent. It's like, wow, you're big, but no, I'm just big in comparison to the baby who you feel is a dot. But when I was their age, I was cooking and cleaning.
You should have been. As you should have been. That is true. Actually, it's only when the next one comes along that now
guys,
it becomes...
I don't know what to do. I'm trying for y'all.
Because I also, now when you speak about it, when I think of Ethan at 5, I also think about him the way I'm thinking about Tana right now.
There was no one else.
There was no one else. It was just like this tiny little dot. In fact, I remember when Zach and I first met in 2016. When Ethan was like about 6, and when Zach came to our house for the first time, I remember at some point we were just like chilling. It was in the evening. Then I was like, oh, I need to go and bathe Ethan. And he was like, you bathe him and he's 6? And I'm like, yeah, because he's a dot. He's just my little baby. What do you mean? You want him to bathe himself? And he actually is the one who was just like, sit right there. I'm going to go and show him how to bathe himself. And that was like a really good connection point. But you see, if he had not come into our lives, maybe even at 10, I could have been washing my little baby Ethan. because you see, but it's tough. What can we do about it is, because now we are awake and we are aware, there are times where like Mukeni will come and like you can tell she is in need of like just her having time with mom. That's really important for me, and I really try to honor that. Like, there are times where it's like, okay, Tana will be crying, but no, Mukeni came first and she's asked for like X and Y and Z, and I do it specifically for her. Or sometimes when I'm buying things and it's like, you could buy for Kenny and for Tana, but you just buy for Kenny because it's only Kenny wants this thing, and she didn't want to necessarily be like, we all have it. She wants it to be just for her. And it's always important that we always give each of them like their own, kind of like, this is your individual experience, and it doesn't have to be like you and Tana all the time.
I actually think that there's now, because we are more conscious about what our birth orders did, about like how it felt, we as parents, as in our generation, I meant
we are parents. Our generation of parents
are gonna be more conscious, because like, you know how that felt, and you are aware of why that ended up happening. For sure,
definitely,
I am deeply empathetic about firstborn daughters, especially. I just have about them.
That's the thing, right?
So I know, will I be overdoing with my firstborn daughter? Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that why you're always so like commenting about things to do with Kenny? By the way, I think Kenny's Lydia's favorite.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Yeah, I love all of your kids, but she has so much energy. Yeah, she has lots of energy, and she's like, she jumps around and she's moves.
Just so active,
but you're right. Yeah. Tana is so affectionate. She's literally right here every time I'm there.
How can you know? Because she's like literally. There she came and just sat here. Lydia, I've hurt my heart. You see,
You're right.
she's a dot.
You know what? You're going through a lot every day.
That's the thing.
Having to balance.
Yeah. Mukeni also has like, she's a real empath. Like she has deep emotions. She feels deeply, but like sometimes she wouldn't necessarily like show you her emotions. Like, you know, she like hug you and kiss you or whatever, but not like the way Tana is like literally. It's like Tana would crawl inside my skin if she could crawl inside my skin, you know.
So.
But like Mukeni is just kind of like, you have to wait for her to take the lead in terms of like what she wants in the affectionate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Funny enough, and also another thing is that I feel like Kenny is like our personality.
Exactly.
She is very bold,
yes.
like very
like
you go.
Exactly.
You know, there's something innately
yeah.
in me when I see like a little girl who has that spirit, and I just want to break all barriers. And let her run.
Yeah.
Run free.
And she's such a leader. Like you'll see whenever we like this estate we've moved into, the estate was literally dead. The kids were never coming out to play. But now Mukeni is literally the leader of the kids. Every time she's home, everyone's just like, oh, Mukeni has come. And everybody wants to play outside. Like she changes the mood. She has a spirit about her that's just so magnetic. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Go middle kid.
Go on. Go Kenny.
Yeah, okay. What else did people say? I'm also a child. I'm just a baby.
Guys, hug your middle children.
Honestly,
pause now.
Yeah.
Pause now and
hug
them.
your middleborns. Exactly. I also wonder if someone responded with a picture. I'd tell you, a picture that says, I'd tell you that being perceived as strong made me lie about being strong even when I wasn't. Yes, all those times I withdrew and asked, when you asked if I was fine, and I said yes, I actually wasn't. Shocker. But when people expect you to be okay, you learn to perform okayness. Okay, so middle children grow up really being like hearing in the back, like, oh, we never have to worry about her. You're the child who no one ever has to worry about.
That is traumatic.
Very traumatic.
Why shouldn't you?
It's like always like we don't have to worry about you. So now you internalize being unproblematic. You internalize I am the one who is not adding stress. Your needs don't matter, and maybe they matter to you, but you'll find a way to just like sort it out. You'll find a way to be self-sufficient when actually what you want is for someone to come and worry about you and to care. You know.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I don't think the people who say those things or like the people who whatever they don't, and it's not even coming from a bad place. It's just like for real, you're so unproblematic, you're so calm, you're so, you know, we never have to worry about you doing anything wrong. So it's it's true.
Yeah, and it's actually, I don't know necessarily if it's true, but it cues you to be that way and to stay that way. Right? I don't know if you guys have ever been in a dynamic where you're talking, let's say, to a guy, and it's like they're telling you who you are,
and now
and that's who they are expecting you to be.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like it's a way of like telling people who you need them to be for your own inconvenience. You know what I mean?
I absolutely like that.
It's like you're not. We don't have to worry about you. Q2.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't.
Yeah, actually, I realized the other day I don't like being described as generous for that exact reason. I feel like so many times in my past, someone has used the word generous, but in a context that kind of makes me feel like I have to now be generous.
Yeah.
You have to keep performing generosity because that's just your personality. That's your stamp is you're generous.
Yeah.
You're so generous.
Yeah. Yeah, there's many ways that, especially when you're that young, getting that. And I notice that when guys do that.
Oh, well, now you see you're smart.
It's like it's like you tell me like, oh no, like me, I wouldn't expect that from you. How the hell do you know what you'd expect from me?
So what's the best thing to do in that kind of situation? Is it to push back and be like, oh no, I don't think I'm that way at all. I don't think I'm caring.
No. You keep that perception of me. But when I do it, then you are surprised at what?
But you see
your own expectations of me.
Sometimes it's subconscious. If someone says enough, something, you might subconsciously already internalize that.
But I'm aware.
Okay,
I am aware. I'm aware like this is what you're telling me. You believe I am. And these are like the parameters you're drawing.
Meanwhile, that's the second date. That's the second date.
And I'm just like where are you even getting
this
from?
Information?
Yeah, it's without meaning to. It's like you're telling someone who you need them to be, like stay comfortable.
Right,
you know? Yeah, firstborns are never told that.
Yeah,
even
we don't have to worry about you. Firstborns are never told that because when you're born, you're the only one that they are worrying about. So of course we worry about you because it's only you. Secondborns is just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Except if like they stop at second born, because then you're the last born.
Yeah.
Technically.
So that ended up being like the way you were saying, 2 is the perfect number.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like as middleborns now, we need to go to therapy. If it's something that you still struggle with, you kind of need to go to therapy.
I think we all need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Said.
It doesn't matter. In fact, firstborn, secondborn, lastborns,
everyone needs to go to therapy.
Exactly.
Everyone. And I heard a therapist saying, you don't need to go to therapy. You deserve to go to therapy. You deserve to lay down those burdens that you're feeling. You deserve to see the world through lenses that are not clogged with all the stuff that you've been through, with all the things that your parents said that were not true, with all the heartbreak that you've been through. You deserve to go through life feeling like you matter. That's why you go to therapy.
I really love
therapy has changed my life. I don't even.
Let's not even. Do you feel like there's things about your firstbornness, or like people, do you think that it's worth it for someone to have conversations with their parents about how they feel they were put in that position? Do you feel like that's worthwhile, or is it just kind of like you go deal with it because what happened and that's done?
It depends. I feel like sometimes I do heal through hearing the affirmation and someone validating my experience, because that kind of makes my experience real. And then it also feels like, okay, like I know you are aware, and also being apologized to for something that someone didn't mean to is always great. A lot of parents aren't doing that though. And I feel bad that people aren't, but me and my mom have talked about that before, about the way she was so much about like what's going on with the baby, as if I'm not a baby. Like I am literally a baby too. Huh?
You weren't born grown up.
You'd imagine.
I would imagine.
But imagine they had to give birth to me.
I literally
like a mere mortal.
Like
a mere mortal.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, so having those kind of conversations with my mom is so healing. And I remember, I don't know if I shared this after this. I had done a webinar on the mother wound, and that was so touchy for me, because I mean, daddy, we know. We're about to rock mom too. Yeah. I only got 2.
Can you bring those webinars back, by the way?
Yeah. I was really busy last quarter.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, when because my mom was in it and I had to share a lot of things, afterwards I felt really scared that I had ruined my relationship with my mom, because I was just like,
because you brought things up.
Because I brought things up, and I was sharing some ways I did not feel seen at all, especially being an emotional child with my mom, who's kind of very much like this way. And then after I spoke to her and I literally told her that, so first of all, that was very vulnerable of me. I was like, I feel scared that, like, have I hurt us? Like, is this okay? Like, were you okay in the webinar? Because we didn't talk to each other afterwards.
Where was she in the webinar?
Because my mom supports everything I do. Yeah. So anyway, now afterwards, she was just like, because I'm sharing my experience, I can take a mic in any platform in the world and share that, because it's truly mine. And every time she hears my POV, even though she can't go and change things, she feels like she's better equipped for how she is with me now and how she's potentially as a grandma. So it's good sometimes to hear someone telling you, I didn't know you saw things that way. Or I saw that when I did things this way, it made you feel this way. And that's not what I was meaning to. Even I say not with an apology,
it's
because I don't
like,
really need it. Just validating that experience is very, very helpful to your healing.
I get that. I would tell people, know the kind of parent that you have. Because Lydia's mother is also a trained counselor / therapist. So I feel like she kind of has the language, because sometimes your parent might feel something but they don't know necessarily how to express it, or even you might feel something that you want to like express but like you don't know. Lydia's mom, your mom has the language, and you guys probably saw that when she came. If you know your parent is the kind who has been an avoidant your whole life, they're the kind who have been abusive throughout, they have never had empathy, please don't go to them with this now information of saying, as a middle child I really felt like you didn't whatever, and then expect to hear certain things. Sometimes it might feel nice to just get it off your chest and that you've told them, whether or not they apologize, whether or not they whatever, it might feel good. But for me, I find that unless it was a case of like abuse or serious trauma,
it doesn't necessarily have to
me
be.
It's just not as important for me to go and have that conversation.
I get it. And it's okay to also know that even when you have that conversation, it doesn't really bring closure, because I mean, what are you gonna do?
That's the thing.
Sometimes it kind of just, it feels good, it feels like support, but really the work still has to be the work that you do for sure. And sometimes maybe your parents don't have the language, but they have the empathy. And sometimes they can say like, oh, we didn't know that, they can just say something that makes you feel that way. So I mean, I say you try, but know who you're dealing with.
Also, me, I always remind myself that our parents were parenting for the first time. They literally, when I think of how many things that even still now I still ask ChatGPT, is this okay if my child whatever, how to make sure you're whatever, I'm literally needing AI support to raise my kids.
And there's so many moving parts.
So many things.
Oh, no. There's me and my experience. There's you and yours. There's your siblings and theirs. And trying to kind of not mix them. And
there's your partner. Too much. And your partner with the kids. The kids, they're in relation to your partner and you together. And separately.
Your relationship and how they relate with.
There's a lot.
There's too much. Yeah.
And
you guys?
Yeah. Exactly.
Are doing the best you can.
That's the thing. And most times it's not about even at your parents saying sorry or whatever, but probably just having the conversation so they just know this is how the way our dynamic impacted me as a child. This is how I have, this is how it's impacting me now, or how it made me be as an adult or something like that.
And honestly, just doing your best.
Girl.
That's all. I remember in Love is Blind. I can't even believe you weren't part of that wave.
But anyway, for AD and someone. Okay, I saw it on TikTok at least.
Anyway, when AD's I think it was AD's mom. AD's mom met that guy who she was with, and she basically said, like, whatever it is that you've seen we've done wrong, go do it differently. And when she said that, I saw the weight of what it means to parent. It's like when you think about it, right now you are alone and you're barely keeping up. You are sinking. You are sinking out of like not knowing how to navigate through life. All of the worries you have, all of the insecurities, work, money, and you're alone. Add another
3
partner
kids.
And then another human being. And that's what immediately the empathy that washed over my body, and the way I saw my parents, because it's like, yeah, go do it. You've got notes. I hear you've got notes. You do it differently. And the second you get the responsibility or even feel that, you realize that it's not a joke to raise humans and have them be well balanced. It's a lot.
I completely,
go do it differently. Yeah, you are yapping about what your mom and dad were doing. What are you doing now in your marriage? You guys are beating each other with sufurias.
Exactly. Now, what is happening? Actually, by the way, that's so right. Because the reality of parenting, like you're saying, there's so many facets of life, like so many moving parts, so many different dynamics or whatever. You might get those things which you said your parents did so wrong. You might get those parts very right. But trust me, there's somewhere else. There's somewhere else a ball is
so wrong. Yeah, it made me feel so empathetic because it's easy to judge in the position of just like you do. I don't know if I feel like, oh, your parents were doing it for the first time. Like I don't know if that connects with me, because automatically I feel like you had more authority. I just needed you to have done better, and that's okay. But when I think about like, okay, it's your turn.
Now you do. You go do the better.
Up.
You need us to do better. You
square
do better
up
now. Yeah.
Square up. Now it's like, oh yeah. I'm literally up here.
Yeah.
Stand alone without all the other dynamics. And with all the tools that I have, all the resources, all the money that I have, they had half of that. All the education I have, all the worldliness, all the ways I've traveled, all of that. And I'm still like, life, don't play games. And they had less education, less money. They were less exposed, and they were supposed to figure out that calling the baby was going to be
problematic. That's true. Yeah. Sometimes even our best intentions, end up causing trauma for someone else, and that's something we can't control.
Yeah, so much.
That's it.
Now I'm growing into believing I handled trauma and I survived, and I'm doing my best.
My kids are gonna survive.
They're gonna survive too. In fact, I think they're gonna be better off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now at least we're
like Nelly's in therapy and she's
21. Yeah. I know. So amazing. Too bad she'll not be able to give that to little kids because she says she wants to be child free.
Really? Good on her. Yeah, that's so chic. There is nothing more chic than being child free. Yeah, but she's 21. There's so much room.
There's so much time by the way. By 34.
But no, we validate
But we validate.
Your
if it
choice,
changes, we'll also validate
we'll
that.
also validate.
Yeah, that's
yes,
it.
It's very chic.
That is
very chic.
I quite like it.
Right? So, yeah.
Hey, wow, what a conversation. Love that.
Was
Can't wait for the Last Bones one.
Last Bones ones, please. Nelly, we really, really want you to come.
And thank you, Nelly, for agreeing to come for the episode.
Thank you for agreeing.
We just love you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. But middleborns, we really do validate your experience. Actually, when I think about being somewhere lost in the middle, there's don't stop looking sad.
Malcolm in the Middle. A whole series that was made about Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah.
Yeah, because of it. Yeah, exactly. I see how it can be sad.
Problematic.
You're seen. You're important.
Thank you.
You deserve new clothes.
Thank you. Thank you. I do deserve new clothes.
You all deserve new clothes. And parents, guys, I know when we're talking about this because we're talking about the consequences of parenting as older.
Exactly.
It can be a bit daunting. You now start thinking about everything that you're doing and are you doing the right thing? As long as you keep asking yourself, am I being a good parent? And you're asking for advice and guidance. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Anyway, middleborns, please let us know down below in the comments, what was your experience like? Has anything that we've said resonated with you?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are first and last borns, what are your dynamic with the middleborns who are in your family? If you do have any, let's have the conversation down with empathy, Ovi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode.
Thank you.
And we will see you in our next one. Conclude Last
Last borns. Last borns.
Yeah.
See ya. Bye.